Hey everybody! Well, today we are going to be taking a look at this beast of a Lego set. This is the brand new Lego Titanic set that just came out on November 8th. This is set number 10294 and it has 9,090 pieces. I mean, this thing is huge. So I guess this is technically the second largest set after the world map, but I don't know, the world map isn't really a set like this. This is amazing. This box is monstrously huge. Must weigh about 30 or 40 pounds. I barely got it to my car from the Lego store. I mean, it just weighs so much. It has interiors. You'll be able to take it apart in 3 different places. And it also came with this freebie right here. That's a little coffee cart, so I thought that was pretty cool. So this set retails for $630. It is not a cheap set, but it's going to be a monster set when it's done. 4.5 feet long. That is just crazy. All right, so when you open the top of this thing, there's a really cool picture of the Titanic right there. Then we'll open this up, and then on the inside here, there is going to be 3 boxes. So you can also build, if you want somebody to help you build this, they can each build a section of it. Like that'll be the back, the middle, and then the front of it. So this is going to be a huge set. I have no idea how many bags are in this thing, but we'll check it out. Each box has its own view of the ship. So you got the front view here, the middle, and then the back. And then when you flip the boxes the other direction, you can get the whole ship right here. So it's really cool how they did the artwork on these. I think each box is going to have its own set of bags, so the bags aren't going to continue from one box to the other as far as the numbering goes. Here is the manual, and thankfully they put it in this nice little folder so it doesn't get all banged up and stuff. So let's just take a quick look. Now I'm guessing there might be one manual per box. I think that's how this is going to work. So this is going to be a really fun build. There's even rigging on this thing. Oh man, I love the interiors. You'll be able to see on the inside, which is really neat. And then also there's going to be these things. I don't think there's any stickers on this set. It's going to be these plastic parts for the flags. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started building this thing, and if there's anything interesting or cool, I'll show you along the way. Okay, so just a progress report here. I wanted to show you how it looks on the inside. So that's kind of how they start doing the structuring. There's not much to it, but yet it's still amazingly strong. This one here in particular. So these 2 pieces are going to connect eventually. Another thing I thought that was odd is this little railing right here. They don't usually, push that down a little bit better. They used to not allow that, or I should say it was an illegal build move that Lego would say that they, didn't approve of or something, but I guess they changed their mind now because I've seen them using this method now lately. I can't remember the last set that I saw them do this, but I was really kind of surprised to see that. I mean, it's a clever way to make a wall or something back there. But you can see here, and this whole module right here for the bridge was really fun to build. There's a lot to it. It looks like it's a lot simpler than it is, but there's a lot more to it. So anyway, yeah, this has been a really fun build so far. I don't want to spoil this back part because I want to show you what that looks like back there when I do the final reveal. But I thought you'd like to see what it looks like when you're building the inside of it. Okay, so I thought this was pretty interesting. The electric generators that are near the back of the Titanic on the bottom of the ship, you actually will build these. You'll actually build these little generators in here. And the thing is you will never see this detail. It's going to be buried inside the model. It's going to be covered over with this piece, and you'll never be able to take that off and see it again. So I thought that was really interesting that they would go through the trouble of actually building that. But that just goes to show you the detail that was put into this set. It's really cool. When you're building the back of the ship, there's this really cool hidden Easter egg. It's a tile that has the initials TC, which stands for Tiago Catarino. He used to work for Lego, and he helped design several sets, including the Ship in a Bottle set, which also has his initials on the seal of the bottle, and on the Haunted House set here, which we can see on one of the tombstones, it's got that same piece. So that's really cool that they paid a little homage to him, and I think that's awesome that Lego did that. Okay, I just want to point out what a feat of engineering this back section of the ship is, this whole stern section. I mean, first of all, you can see the skeletal structure of the whole thing in here. And interestingly, the ship is relatively hollow, but it's just the way that they do these support sections that make it so strong. But the part that really blew my mind is on this side here. Now, this back section of the Titanic is it has a very distinctive shape to it, where the black section here really sticks out pretty far, and then it comes down into an angle back here towards the back. And even as I was building this, I still couldn't figure out how they pulled off this look, because it looks just like it's supposed to look. If I can lift it this way, oh yeah, there we go. We get some better light on it. See how it kind of hangs out over this area? That's exactly how it's supposed to look. They even put these things in here, which I don't know if those are vents or just water escape or just whatever those are. But they even got that detail in there. The way you build this entire side, you build this entire side over here and even this part, and then the whole thing just snaps in place. And it's a mind bender. So if I move it this way, see those little clips right in there? It clips in right there. It clips in right here. And there's another one back here. I'm not sure we'll be able to see it, but it clips in. I mean, the whole thing just snaps in perfectly. It's absolutely amazing. This kind of stuff always blows my mind. And the people or persons that designed this thing did just an incredible job. And here it is, all complete now. And oh my gosh, this thing is so big. I can't even get it completely in frame here. I mean, this thing is just, it's so big. I can't believe how big this thing is. Man, what a ride building this thing. I gotta say, this has been an amazing, amazing Lego set to build. I just can't believe the sheer size of this thing. I mean, here you can see from the front, we'll just kind of go down the side here, but this thing is just absolutely a monster of a build. It is super detailed. It had some interesting ways of putting some things together, but nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. But the sheer size of this thing is just beyond unreal. I mean, it is just a massive, massive set. 4.5 feet long. I don't even know how much it weighs. I mean, when you pick it up, it is just so heavy. It's got to be probably maybe 30 pounds. I don't know. I really don't know. I think the box was about 37 pounds, I think. So that's including the manuals for the instruction manuals and also the cardboard, because I actually ended up getting 2 of these and I had to send one back because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get one at the Lego store. So I had one ordered, and then it turns out the one that was ordered showed up the very next day. So I had to send that one back because there's no way I can afford 2 of these things. But oh my gosh, this is such an amazing, amazing set. I can't even believe it's Lego. So we're going to go over some details on this thing, but oh man, the sheer size of this thing just blows your mind. All right, so let's look at some of the details here, starting from the very front. Here we can see the bow of the ship. Now they do have these anchors here on the side, which are actually made of these sausage pieces, which are pretty funny. The chain does go through here, and you can actually see it right there on the top. I think those round things are called capstans. There's a third anchor that's down inside there, which I didn't know that the Titanic had a third anchor. There's also a crane right there. And here's where you start getting into the front section, the railings. I love the way they did these ladders using those angled grill pieces right there. Here you can see more of the front deck right there. There's some cranes. The cranes are cool. They actually are movable. Let me see if I can get in here and move this around. So you can actually move these, and you can turn them. So they are functional. Let's take a look at the bridge. Here's the bridge section right there. It's kind of hard to get in here, but you can actually see there's the railing underneath there, the little walkways. The way they did the windows, you got the red light here. There's a green one on the other side. Don't know if I can swing around to see it. You can just see it right there. It's hard to get a filming of this thing. Okay, right over here we got some nice lifeboats. Those were fun to make. You make so many of those that you don't even have to look at the instructions anymore. You just know how to build them yourself. I really love the way they did these windows right in here, because the Titanic does have these windows that look like they're kind of cut off on the bottom, and they actually managed to replicate that. Here's the skylight that I believe is near the top of the grand staircase in there. I love the way they use these phone receivers for the little air vents. These pieces right here, these are really cool. It's an ingenious use of those parts. The funnels are really well done. There's even a little bit of detail up there. Sorry, it's hard to get lighting on everything here. These were really fun to build. And the little section in here is a module in itself that just kind of goes down in there. It's really cool how you build a lot of this stuff because they're kind of snap into the deck. Right here is really cool. You can actually see there's actually ladders that go down inside there, which is really cool that they got that detail in there as well. There's the davits for the lifeboats. Also, the way they did the benches right here are really cool. They're kind of their own little build. And then they snap down. You just kind of push them down in here and they snap in. It's just really ingenious the way the whole thing is done. Here's the midsection. There's the compass tower. In the middle, there's another one of those phones. I love how they use the bicycle handlebars for the railing, the curved railing. It's very nicely done. There's a ton of tiles on here. I like that they left it mostly smooth. Back here in this section, there's the third funnel. And there's some more benches. And then there's the, I'm not sure what that was right there, but those are prints right there. Those are not stickers. No stickers in this set, which is fantastic. There's the other skylight. Here is the fourth funnel, which was actually a dummy. It was not a functioning smokestack or a funnel. It was strictly there for aesthetics. They wanted it to look more grand by having 4 stacks on there. So that one was strictly just for looks on the ship. I should also point out the really cool way that they did the walkway down in there. These pieces here, these little struts, they're actually faucet pieces, which were cleverly used. There was some repetitive sections of this build, and that being these windows right here. You have to build these over and over there, and they're actually sideways construction. So you stack one by one pieces in here, and then they snap in. It's cool how they snap in. The other part that was really repetitive are these black windows right here. These things, I do love the texture that they did end up getting in here, but it was using like 3 pieces. There's like wedges and the L-shaped bracket pieces that kind of fasten over these little holes. And that would get kind of repetitive doing that. And there's a lot of them, as you can see, all over this ship on both sides. But they managed to get the look of it perfectly. I mean, this just looks absolutely amazing. They even, I think these pieces, let's see, where was that? Right here. I think these are brand new. These 1x2 curved bits. I think those are new to this set. And they're brand new pieces that Lego came out specifically for this set to make that. Here we're moving towards the back now. More amazing detail. I mean, this thing is so huge. I just cannot talk about enough about how big this thing is. There's some more really cool vents right here. And then here's where you get into more of the cranes, which are also completely workable. There's more in the back here, all the cargo cranes. I love that little doorway right there. It looks like it kind of goes down inside there. And then back here is where it gets a little more studded. I kind of wish they would have kept the smooth tile look. I don't know why they went for this heavy studded look back here. Yeah, I kind of wish they would have kept it smooth. There's some more of those benches. There's a whole bunch of them right there you can see. And this is the stern section bridge tower, or bridge, I think. I'm not sure. These pieces here, these little gear-looking things, they originally had you put them in the same direction, but I actually made them go in the opposite direction because I just think it looks more better than that. This thing here, I'm going to probably paint that. That red really stands out, the connector pin. I'm going to probably paint it a dark gray. That just really bothers me. There's more of the little benches back here. There's the British flag right here. This section here was really fun to build, this whole back area. The way they did this curve, it's all done with hinges, and it just kind of wraps around, and it was really ingenious the way that goes together. Back here you can see the Titanic Liverpool, and that was a print as well. I mean, the detail on this I don't think they really missed anything. It's absolutely amazing. Back here is the rudder, and the rudder does move. You can actually adjust this. And the propellers turn also, and there's actually a cool function for these that are on the inside where I'll show you here just a little bit. As I mentioned earlier, the way they got this to hang out over here is really cool how they pull that off. The Titanic had a distinctive look on the back section, how that hung over, and they did a really good job with that. All the detailing on there, I mean, it just, I don't even know how they did this. I mean, this took some serious engineering to pull this off to make this look as good as they did. Now, this knob that I was showing you earlier, it actually has a function. When you turn it, it can adjust the tension for the main section, this big wire that goes across. See how you can tighten it? So you can make it as tight as you want just by turning that knob. It's like an tension adjuster. And so, you know, you don't want to put it too tight because then it's going to put too much tension on the masts right here. But I usually make sure I take the sag out of it and just make it tight enough, you know, that it looks good. But I think that's really cool that they added that feature in there. These little stands that they have for these are nice and strong. They actually connect in there with pins, but you can also pull them off if you want to, and you can just have the ship sitting flat on its belly if you want to. So if you don't want these stands in there, you can take those off. Maybe you have a display case or something for it, and you don't want it on there. So they do give you the option to remove those, which I thought was actually pretty nice and well thought out as well. The only beef I have with this set was this right here. The name plaque. It's just so plain. I mean, you got this massive, beautiful model, and then you got this. I mean, it's almost like they just ran out of steam at the end. And these were using the keys for the typewriter set for the lettering on it. But I mean, there's really nothing to this. I mean, it's just kind of a plain looking thing. I mean, I would have even been satisfied with a UCS type of plaque that has a sticker that has some stats on it. But I just feel like that they kind of dropped the ball on this. Maybe I'll make my own name tag, but yeah, I kind of wish they would have gone a little bit better with that. Okay, so just for fun, I thought I would break out this model. So this is a model kit of the Titanic that I built back in 1997. I cannot believe that I built this 24 years ago now. When the movie came out, I became obsessed with the Titanic and I wanted to build a model kit. And this was actually an older kit. My modeling skills wasn't all that great back then. But yeah, you can see that it doesn't hold a candle to the size of, oh my gosh, the Lego version. I mean, look at that. Look at the size difference between the two. I mean, it's just insane just how large the Lego version is. And you know, looking at this model kit, it wasn't the most accurate one, but they did get quite a few details on the Lego version that I think is pretty darn good considering it's Lego. I mean, they have to work with the existing pieces versus a standard model kit, but I think they did really good. But yeah, oh gosh, you know, and I always thought that model kit was pretty large until this thing came along. There is a new model kit by a company called Trumpeter, and it's massive. It may be as big as the Lego set here, and it may even be larger than that. But I only got so much room for all these Titanics. Now, one of the amazing things about this set is it has interiors, and the way you get to those are these hidden little locking mechanisms that they have. So you get a hold of these two phone receiver pieces, and you pull this little section out. And when you do, there's this little bar inside here you can see. That bar is what's holding everything together, and it's amazing how strong it actually is. So once you do that, now, let me see if I can get a hold of this. You can actually start pulling sections of the ship apart like this. And now we'll take a look at the interiors. Now, looking at one half of the bow section here, you can see all the interiors going on in here, including the furnaces where they would shovel all the coal inside. You actually do build those, which is really cool. There's a swimming pool right there, and you can actually see the tiles like a swimming pool would have. There's the grand staircase running up the center. All those white tiles represent beds, all the little rooms in there. It's really fun to build these interiors. This is the little lounge at the top, and you can see that the compass piece is supposed to represent the clock, but I really do love the way they did that lounge. Here's the other side of this now. This is where the coal would be stored. And then there's more cabins in here. That's the other half of the swimming pool, which is really cool. So it's actually an entire room. And these are all entire rooms. They're just cut in half. Up here at the top, and there's the other part of the lounge area. So it's really nicely done. And I do think it's so cool how they added all the interiors in there. All right, so to put everything back together, you just match up the clips down there and the pins. All these little loops right here are where that big long pin goes in to hold everything together. So now you just got to kind of line everything up. It's a little tricky to get everything back in there and line it all up. You have to make sure you line up the pins down below. Okay, then there's the clips at the top. All right, and then once you get it in there, here is that post. You just drop this down in here like this, and you are set to go. I mean, it is ingenious how they figured that out, and it's amazing how strong that connection point is. Okay, so now on the back part of the ship, this is between funnel 3 and funnel 4, you have another hidden section right here. So these little things are the dead giveaway again. You pull on this, and you pull this up. If I can get a grip on it. It's a little tight because of the way this whole model is sitting. But once again, you've got another one of these cool things right here that hold everything together, just like that. So let me take these apart, and we'll take a look at those interiors. Now, this back section is much more elaborate. You got more rooms and stuff going on in here. And they don't go all the way down because that's where the engines are going to go in. And I'm pretty sure this is pretty accurate to the ship. There's some more cabins, more layers there, a little bit of the grand staircase, the second one. There's another lounge area in there, which is really cool. Another great bit of tiling right there at the top. This side here has all the crazy stuff. There are the engines. There's some more cabins right here. That's the other half of that lounge area. And there's some here at the top, which is really cool. These engines were fun to build and a little bit tricky too, but what's really cool is when you turn these knobs, these pistons actually work in here. That is really awesome. It works on both of them. You can actually pull these out if you want and just operate them by themselves if you just want to, play around with them. But what else is really cool is as you are turning these, it's actually also turning the propellers. So yes, the propellers actually do work. The middle one is static. You can turn it like this, but it's not made to be moved using the motor piece. But you can see how that turns like that. And it's all being operated from this right here. And the other one, same thing. Turn that one, and it operates this back. You can see it back here. Let's see, where is it? It's on this side. Well, that propeller right back there. It's hard for me to reach back there, but you can see that it does operate both of the outer propellers. Okay, once again, to put everything back together again. Now, this is a little trickier because you got to watch the engines in here, but you got to make sure you slide them in there just right. And you also got to make sure you are connecting the pins. So the back here is a lot trickier to put back together. But, I don't imagine that most people are going to be taking this apart too often. Mainly just to show people that come over. And then once you get those connected, once again, you take this piece, you put that down in here, and just push in. And then that locks in place, and there you got it. Another amazing feat of engineering by LEGO. When you do decide to take the ship apart to look at the interiors, don't forget to take apart this little cable that runs across the top. The back part of the ship is the last part that you actually build, and it's probably the most complicated. There's more stuff going on back here, not just because of the propellers, but also the little engines. Also, each section is kind of in two parts. Like the front bow section, you build just this part, and then this part is part of it, and then you connect the two together, and those stay connected permanently. Same with the middle section, the two funnel parts right here. Those are actually two sections that you build separately. You can kind of see where the split is right there, and then they connect together on a permanent basis as well. And then the final section back here, same thing. That section is separate here, and then this section gets connected. So the only parts that are supposed to come apart are the parts that I showed. And you can kind of see the split right here. Now, if you have a table that's not perfectly level, and maybe the lower part of the ship or the front or the back is hanging down a little bit lower, you'll see that split more right there and right here in the front. So you'll have to try to make it even. You may put like maybe a card or a piece of paper or something under there to maybe lift it up a little bit just to kind of even it. That's what I'm going to have to do. But yeah, overall, the build experience for this is absolutely fantastic. The sheer size of this model will just blow your mind. If they have one of these on display at your local Lego store, I think you'll be able to understand what I mean. You'll be able to see what 9,090 pieces of Lego can actually build. And this is just an incredibly huge, stunning model. I can't even believe that they were able to pull this off. I mean, this is as big as they could use in a filming model. It's absolutely stunning. So there you have it, the massive and beautiful Lego Titanic set. This came out on November 8th of 2021. I think they are currently sold out of these right now. It's going to be one of these sets that are probably going to be hard to get at first because everybody wants it. But $630, yeah, it's an expensive set, but when you see how absolutely huge it is, I think it was worth every penny. I really do. And the sheer size of it, the weight of it, 9,090 pieces, 4.5 feet long. Yeah, it's beautiful. And the build was a lot of fun. Just if you do decide to get this kit, just go slow, take your time, pace yourself, don't rush through it. I mean, half the fun is building the kit after all. And that way you don't make any mistakes. I did make a mistake in the front here. There's a V-shaped strut that goes on in there, and I didn't realize that I hadn't connected it properly until I was trying to put those side panels on. And so I had to take a significant portion of that apart to fix it, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get it back together. So just take your time on it and make sure you're looking at the instructions carefully and enjoy the build. I mean, that's, part of the fun of this whole thing. But if you're a Titanic fan like myself, you have got to get this because it is absolutely beautiful and it's breathtaking to see it in person in this size. All right, well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe too. I'd really appreciate that. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks again, and have a good one.